Hey, what's going on, you guys? How are you? Hiker Dave, any Bigfoot here. Um, it is a really crappy rainy day here today. It's going to rain all day. I might get out for a hike. I'm not positive. I'm having such an issue with my Fujifilm camera. It's like good for underwater, for like 30, 40 feet underwater. So it's a perfect camera for bad weather like this, for the rain. But I'm having such issues with it. Fuji. I wish, it's the best I could get at the time, but I'm having wicked battery issues and things like this. So I don't know if I'm going to get out today or not. I think I might, because I love hiking in the rain. So I might just go for a hike in the rain without making a video because I'm having such issues. But I don't know so much about cameras, so maybe I could buy a new battery for this Fuji. I don't know. What I wish Fuji had on this camera was a flippy screen. I can't see, to vlog as I'm walking. I can't see myself. Just put a flippy screen on the thing. You know what I mean? So I can see what the hell, if you're looking at the top of my head or not. But anyways, I wanted to do a story about this 18th century Yeti wild woman from Russia. And this story was sent to me by Scott from Bigfoot Explorer. Thank you, Scott. You rock. And, if you haven't checked out Bigfoot Explorer, this guy's got all the tech that we need, us ladies and guys out in the field. His channel's going to help us out for better quality gear that we can look at, Before I get into it, I do want to thank a couple people that have contributed. I'm very, very, very appreciative of it. Maximilian Roop, thank you very much. Valerie Reed, I really appreciate it. Mark Wilson and Kenneth Robinson, you guys rock. Thank you very much. It will be, it's very much appreciated, and thank you very much. Now, I don't know if your names, you wanted me to say them or not. I guess, I don't know. I hope you guys don't mind. I just wanted to give you guys credit, is all, because it makes a difference to helping to support my channel. I do appreciate it. So, jump right into this bad Larry, right? I got this information. Oh, well, like I said, it was referred to me by Scott from Bigfoot Explorer. So I did some snooping around on the interwebs, and so I got this story from the Daily Mail. This was an article in 2015, and this is what I have gathered from it. I actually wrote down this. None of this is like my original thought here. I wrote it down like I always do. And I'm just kind of reading it to you guys. I like to write things down anyways. When I wrote all of this. I got like 3 pages here. I like to write it down because, almost 4 pages, because then it's like imprinted in my memory. I can now discuss the subject and really remember some details without having to refer to any kind of website or anything like that. I now have this in my storage bank, so to speak, in my mental SD card. So this is from the Daily Mail. Was a 19th century ape woman a Yeti? 6'6" Russian serf who could outrun a horse was not human, quote unquote, according to DNA tests. 6'6". Now, in the 18th century, I can't imagine 6'6" was an average height. I really believe back in the day that would have been monstrous in size to somebody. I'm not positive, and I didn't do research on this, but I know even in my area, in some 100-year-old homes, the doors I have to duck to get in houses, the windows are only 2 feet off the ground. I think generally, even someone my size being 6'4", I would have been a circus act back in, the early 1900s or whatever. And so seeing that this woman was 6'6", she must have just been towered over everybody. A leading geneticist believes he has found evidence to prove Bigfoot could have been more than a myth. Professor Brian Sykes of the University of Oxford, I always find that very fancy. University of Oxford claims a towering woman named Zana, who lived in the 19th century Russia, who appeared to be half human and half ape, could have been the fabled Yeti. Before I continue and go any further, guys, I want it said and made sure so when I get people's comments, I'm not saying that this woman was a Sasquatch. In any way, I am merely relating the story as I had read it. So my take on this whole thing, I'm up in the air with it, whether I believe that this woman had that they couldn't match her DNA to human. I don't know about all that. So I'm just relating the story. So in the comments, you don't have to say, Dave, this, you can, I know I'm going to get, oh, this story is old, where, you know, you're behind in the times, everybody already knows it. Well, I'm just making the video about it to inform some people that may not know about it. So there. Witnesses described the woman discovered in the Caucasus Mountains between Georgia and Russia as having all the characteristics of a wild animal and covered in thick auburn hair. Now, there's some names of Russian places here that I'm going to completely butcher, and I apologize now for it when I get to it, but I will try my best. She was discovered and trapped by a local merchant who hired a group of hunters to hunt her down in the 1850s. I hate to hear that, even just the way that's worded, that this rich old bugger hired hunters to hunt this this wild woman through the mountains. That's sad to me. I think that's just cruel. Okay, to hunt her down in the region of Akhmicher, she was eventually tamed by a nobleman. Tamed by a nobleman on his estate in Takhina. It is thought that Zana roamed the remote mountains where her African ancestors lived for many generations. So this was, again, this is on the Daily Mail. This is where I got this information from. Quotes, when the hunters caught her, they placed her in a ditch surrounded by sharp spikes. She was sold from owner to owner until the nobleman kept her as a servant. They threw her in a ditch surrounded by spikes. I mean, so she must have really looked like it. I guess like an animal. I don't know. That is just extremely cruel. Anyways, experts believe the wild woman was found lurking in a remote region in the Republic of Abkhazia. I think I did that one all right. Abkhazia. She had at least 4 children by local men, and some of her descendants still live in the region. Professor Sykes carried out saliva tests on 6 of her living relatives and a tooth of her deceased son, Kiwit. I think that's how you pronounce the name. Her son, Kiwit, Khwit. DNA analysis revealed that they all contained the right amount of African DNA for the ape woman to be 100% African. But remarkably, she did not resemble any known group. Her resemblance was that of a wild beast, the most frightening feature of which was her expression, which was pure animal, one Russian zoologist wrote in 1996. The man who organized various eyewitness accounts of Zana wrote, quote, her athletic power was enormous. She would outrun a horse and swim across the Moskva River even when it rose in a violent high tide. Some have argued that she was a runaway Ottoman slave, but Professor Sykes says her unparalleled DNA refutes that theory. He believes her ancestors came out of Africa 100,000 years ago and lived in the remote mountains for many generations. Accounts from the time claim she was incredibly muscular, slept outdoors, and ran around naked until she died in 1890. Despite the lack of hard proof, the analysis of the alleged Yeti hairs, Sykes says he has developed a strong sense. He has developed a strong sense. Is that scientific? I'm not sure about that, but he has developed a strong sense that, quote, something is out there. Well, I could tell you that. Professor Sykes could not say if the Yeti, Bigfoot, or the Russian Almasty is the best candidate for the surviving race of human ape men. He said, quote, Bigfoot have many more people trying to find it, but I suppose either the Yeti or the Alma, or Almasty, which live in inaccessible and very thinly populated regions, is the most likely. So, I did a little bit more digging on a couple other sites. I found this on ancientorigins.net. Zana appeared to be a cross between human and primate. Her DNA was analyzed, and surprisingly, it did not match any known modern African group. Zana's existence seems to be established historically by witnesses and residents of Abkhazia. Yet experts wrestle with her background and biological identity. Was she simply a victimized woman suffering from a disability, or a runaway slave, or even a surviving Neanderthal? Now, I remember seeing something about this story a long time ago, and I completely forgot all about this until Scott sent this to me. And, you know, I've heard others say that she might have had like this disease where you grow hair all over your body, and I can't think of the name of the disease, and I apologize for that. But the story's interesting. I hate the fact that they hunted this woman down and trapped her and put her in a ditch with spikes surrounding it, and maybe she was a Bigfoot, a female Bigfoot. I don't know. Then you've got a bunch of these dope heads over there that are having children with her, and I can't imagine her being treated very well. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. I do appreciate it. And I'll definitely see you guys on the next one.